Pick a card. What is your star power? Here are your options, and I'll see what you're reading.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Untitled Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, you chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen. And your downloads go as follows. Your star power. What is your star power? Highly intelligent, scary analytical skills. You could arch your brow in suspicion, and that freezes the faint of heart. You don't share half of what you know. You are the secret weapon. People have erroneously underestimated you and now wonder who they were dealing with. They're waking up to the fact that they saw only one facet of your personality, and that is largely due to the fact that they had no curiosity and they were focused on self. You have learned, experienced many deaths and rebirths, but retain your humility, and I feel like that is probably the most shocking thing of all. You are thought of as being a visionary, and yet you're understated. Your star power is related to your DNA. For a moment, I actually thought I wrote diva, and I'm like, that makes no sense. So maybe perhaps you're being viewed as a diva. But your star power is directly correlated to your DNA. So if you believe in reincarnation or anything that has to do with DNA and being able to hand down, I'm going to say trauma and drama, all the things that we can get basically through our DNA. So also people in the past could have thought that you had multiple personalities. I feel like they incredibly underestimated you, or they didn't have the tools to really be able to marry what they were seeing or what they were experiencing with you. And therefore, I feel like now they're starting to really comprehend a lot more of who you are. But it's taking distance and it's taking darkness in order for that to come about. So this could look like a lot of things. This could look like distance. This could look like going dark, right? Or dropping off the face of the earth kind of a thing. Maybe they couldn't see you because it's almost like twilight or dawn when the stars are still out. But the lighter it gets, the less brilliant the stars are, right? That's why they don't shine as brilliant in the city. So when you're maybe perhaps next to a star, maybe these were people that were really close to you once upon a time, and they were too close to you that they couldn't see you shine, or they saw your shine but misinterpreted it or wanted to covet it. But anyways, regardless, if this sounds like you or if this sounds intriguing, then stick with me for the shuffle and your subsequent reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, I hope that you find something that is helpful or at the very least encouraging here. And for those of you guys that are my repeat offenders, thank you guys so very much. I'm so grateful for all of you. Pile number 1. What is your star power? You chose hothead. Are you a hothead? Well, I can relate. Let's scooch this over. Okay, and you got, I'm golden. Okay. So first of all, I feel like I'm going to say that you probably have a very cool demeanor, or it takes a lot to shake you up. I definitely also feel like people around you could have mistaken that for a weakness. They could have been like, oh, pile number 1, they're not going to do anything. They won't say anything. They are just chill. And they continued maybe perhaps even taking that attitude to the point where they cross boundaries. And pile number one, I definitely feel like people realize that now you are not the one to play with, okay? With this hothead right here, I don't even feel like it's a hothead, like, ooh, all of a sudden pile number one just popped off. No. Maybe pile number one was sick of your ish and tired of putting up with being provoked, poked, prodded, talked about, gone after, witch hunted, whatever you want to call it. So I definitely feel like people are realizing that you're going to open your mouth and speak the truth. And if necessary, are we going to throw hands? Maybe. I don't know. But I'm all, hang in there with me. I'm like, how is this your star power? Well, I feel like people are starting to actually really notice you, okay? That's one thing. And what you have to say has been maybe repressed for a long time. I heard even for generations. So the whole I'm golden, this is like what I'm talking about. People could have viewed you as like this, and now they're having a choice. They can take the commune, which is like I'm golden, I'm on my own business, I do my own thing, or you can come after me and you'll find me for sure, that kind of a thing. So let's find out what else is going on here, because I feel like there's a bigger picture. Hit your target. Okay. Pile number one, you have the Lovers. And you have the Seven of Wands. So right off the bat with hit your target right here with a 1, this could have to do with love overall, right? So your star power, I feel, could have looked a lot different. Like initially, again, people mistaken your kindness for weakness, or, you know, I'm going to go ahead and take care of things in a certain way and just do me. But I don't feel like you wanted like the center of attention or anything else. But your star power is like, okay, now you're coming for me. Now publicly, we're going to address it. This back here looks like windows, but to me, I see 2 keys hanging. And therefore, I feel like you have the ability to release and unlock a lot of mystery, the behind the scene mysteries, things that people have always wondered about, that they're like, gee, I wonder why pile number one never, and all of a sudden it's like somebody provokes you and you fill in the blanks, that sort of thing. So let's see where else this goes. Pile number one, so 7 of Wands right here is somebody who definitely is standing on the higher ground, and they see you as higher ground. And actually, oh my gosh, is it stem? I don't remember the way. This is like a self-defense mode where you put out your hands and you try to de-escalate things. But anyways, my friend's going to kill me. I'm like, it's called this, and I keep forgetting. But yeah, so you could be somebody who's into like martial arts, or teaches people how to defend themselves, or you could be somebody who defends people. You defend the people that you love, and you do it in a manner that really, maybe from being someone that's like, I'm golden, I'm demure, I'm quiet, and all of a sudden you are a ferocious, I heard viper, so don't take it personally, but you know, when somebody pokes the bear, they're going to find the horns. I always say that, and bears don't have horns, but here we are. So we have the Lovers right here, and the Lovers, I feel like this has a lot to do with your personality. This has a lot to do with you minding your own business, because she just appears quiet. She's like, you know, I'm golden. I'm chill, not a big deal. I'm doing my own thing. And yet people want to come for you. So maybe you historically have been known as somebody who like does your own thing, and you're kind of like, you know, taking self-defense courses, or you're teaching them, or, you know, ideally you're doing both, right? That's what the professionals do. They do both. And people have come for you, you know, when you're minding your own business, and they found out that that was not the right person nor the right time to F around and find out, because they definitely found out. So I think that the way that this is your star power is that all of a sudden you glean a lot more attention than you ever thought, because you weren't seeking any. I feel like other people put the attention on you as a byproduct for poking the bear, that sort of thing. So hit your target. I'm going to hit your target. I want to know a little bit more about that before I flip the other cards. So pile number 1, your star power. Why is this card here? The number 13 is the death card in the tarot. It reduces to a 4. So this could have been an ending on how people see you. I feel like once upon a time, people thought they could come for you, or you were just like a doormat or somebody that was not to contend with. You were not a contender, right? Because you weren't the loudest in the room, which is a big, big mistake that people have made, I feel like, throughout your life. Maybe perhaps you're just more quiet. You could be more introspective. And whatever it is that people have done, I feel like this has brought out the feistiness in you, the protectress, the protector. They've seen you hit your mark. And maybe, yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys in this group, I would not be surprised if... So sorry about that. Pile number 1. That was my alarm. I guess it's time to wake up. So yeah, maybe they're waking up to the fact, and waking up to the fact that you are not going to remain silent if you come for them, and if they come for you and they cross boundaries, right? If they cross boundaries with loved ones or things that you prize and that you value, like maybe your privacy or your family or your loved ones, your pets, I don't know. But this is going to relate some way, some shape or form, if this is your reading. With the number 13, yeah, it was a sudden ending, a sudden death. And I feel like this is something that you didn't even want to bring out. You're like, oh, I have, two sides to me, and they brought out that side. I feel like right now, with your words, with the way you're thinking, the way you're exposing, it's definitely hitting the mark, and it has people in distress. I feel also that you are like the quiet one. Again, the quiet one that also, like, quote, suddenly became verbose, that sort of thing. Pile number 1. With the Lover's card right here, I definitely feel like, yeah, there is something of an attachment to things that were back when, almost like things that have already died, to the new. It's almost like you were surrounded by people that were not of your caliber, or that didn't understand you. They were not your people. Maybe in blood they could have been your people, or you're raised in a village together that were similar, but ultimately you were not the same. And I feel like you had a very difficult time trying to identify with them as well. But I do feel also that, I don't know, there's like an enmeshment or an attachment going on here. I don't like that. Usually I don't see this card this way, but that's how that's going. Then I have a lot of flowers down here. I feel like they put a lot of perfume. It's almost like, let me prettify. That's a new word, Griselle. Thank you. Let me prettify the situation. Let me make it sound better than what it really is. And I think that you were surrounded by that. And when they broke through this threshold of you've had enough, and they kept coming for you, and they kept crossing boundaries, whatever this is, I think that you absolutely let them have it, and you acted or reacted in a way that I do feel like it was defending your own grounds, that sort of thing. But I feel like it also put you in distress, because maybe it felt like you were acting out of character, but really I feel like this is a catalyst. It needed to happen, and it put an ending to something that was a constant. An example I can think of that comes to mind is, constantly telling someone, I'm not comfortable with you addressing anything about how I raise my children, or how I handle my marriage, or anything. And these people, friends, family, whatever, or coworkers, they keep, talking about, well, this, well, that. And you're like, no, I already told you that's off limits. And they have no respect about your verbal boundary. And all of a sudden you, quote, snap, air quotes if you're not watching. And pile number 1, then you're the bad guy. But I feel like this has launched you into sort of some kind of a public eye, where people have seen that you have this ability and wherewithal to defend yourself, to defend those that belong to you, friends, family, loved ones, whatever, strangers, underdogs, all the things. And I feel like this can leave you feeling a little bit discombobulated, but it is an evolution. I feel like this is meant to catapult you into stardom because you are meant to use your words. You're not meant to remain silent, to retain all the things, to hold everything in. You're not meant to repress these feelings, because I feel like that outlet, that mere outlet, is going to be a release valve, and it's going to really enable you to fight for the underdog. This is not just about you. I feel like this is a bigger picture, and that's why this is more about your star power. What is your star power, right? I feel like also people can fall in love with you because you are somebody who defends. You have honor and you defend. And maybe you'll take hits for other people that you don't even know, because you realize that you're done with injustices of any sort and you can't tolerate it. Maybe perhaps you've developed like a sensitivity, like if you eat a food for a long time and you're all of a sudden really sensitive, I'm getting pineapple for whatever, right? But you develop the sensitivity to this food and you can't have it any longer, or it has to be in very tiny doses. Otherwise, you'll have a reaction. And I think that maybe perhaps in the current state, you might feel that you are hypersensitive to anything that is like negative or critical or intrusive, especially anything that is exploiting the weak or exploiting mental health, or trying to paint someone in a different light than other than what they really are. Yeah, I think that you have a very low tolerance for people that are witch hunters. That's one thing I will say. And I think that you're becoming very well known for that. Unexpectedly so, I'll say. I don't feel like you put yourself out there to be that person. So pile number one, if this sounds like you, or if this is you, or even if you're amused by this reading, if you can please do me a favor and like, share, comment, subscribe, I would really, really appreciate that. Also, if you could turn on your little notification bell, that's going to help you be notified when I drop further readings. All right, what is your star power? How does this tie in? You got a leg up on things. You're stepping into a new experience. This is very uncomfortable for you. You might indeed feel hello, yeah. I feel like the quietness has been fragmented. I feel like your comfort zone is maybe repressing or dealing or suppressing. It's almost like, well, if it's just me, I can deal. But the minute I see anyone else in trauma and drama, being exploited, or having their own boundaries crossed over, it's like you're done. You are done with that. But this is going to launch you on a new experience that you never would have thought would be a thing. So that, not that, I feel like these things are going to combine, okay? Much like the Temperance card, there's a lot of healing to be had here. I feel like you'll find the middle ground to where you're golden, but you're going to speak up, and it won't be like you're popping off, okay? And again, I'm not saying you are popping off, but this really needed to happen in order for you to start vocalizing things that are meant to be vocalized and that you've repressed for a long time. So what else do we have? Yep. Psychic ability, trust your intuition with the eye. I'm not surprised. And I feel like maybe you guys could be very empathic. You could sense things when they're not correct. I definitely, can sense things like that when they're not correct. I've had a lot of things happen, even at work, where I've had to intervene on the behalf of like patients. And yeah, I don't really even want to go there, but we're having this discussion. So this can look like civil rights, human rights, animal rights. I don't know your life, but it reminds me of a situation where there was a very, very old person, a man in my office trying to get an eye test. This was years ago. And then a mom and the daughter came in, and the daughter, next thing I know, I had turned around. They didn't come in together. And after a while, I turn around, and the daughter, she maybe 6, 7, was on that man's lap, and he's bouncing around. And I'm like, what just happened? And I'm looking, and the mom is like totally, like oblivious. And this man's just, he and I locked eyes, and I knew. I'm like, this is not happening. So I feel like you could be somebody who will intervene in that way. I certainly did intervene. And I had a strong talk with the mom, who was completely oblivious and didn't even care. she kept saying, well, the daughter wants. And I'm like, oh, don't make me go there. But I did. So yeah, that could be, one moment, please. That could be something that you could have certain topics that people know not to push you on these topics because you will not play. You will absolutely not play. You'll have a short fuse about it. But that little girl needed somebody who was her champion. Not that I think, I was a champion or anything, but certainly no one else stood up and said a darn thing about it. So it could be something like that where you notice an injustice or an abuse or something that's even, quote, subtle, but not subtle to you. It's glaringly obvious and you're not going to stand for it. So let me I feel like maybe, yeah, I feel like you could rise to the top. You could be known as somebody who's going to step in and do something. You could be known for somebody who will stand up for the underdog. And I feel like the biggest, not lesson here, but the biggest thing in your star power is that you really repressed everything. And I feel like even Spirit had to utilize this, whatever this thing was, as a catalyst to make you kind of pop off or lose your temper or say enough is enough, to the point where not only do you defend yourself, but that you cause tower moments for other people that want to come for you or that feel like they could just run over anybody. And you're not having that. You are absolutely not having that. Well, the Tower card, this is like something that you were never meant. Okay, I'm telling you, part of your star power is letting you know if you feel slightly out of control, if these two energies are integrating currently and you feel uncomfortable, that is very normal. I too actually have been silent for many, many years. Silent all these years. Thank you, Tori Amos. But I feel like you came here, I don't know, I'm not going to say to bring fire and brimstone, but to expose people, to really open up people's eyes as well. But mostly I feel like your star power is empowering others. That maybe perhaps you can share, what happened, what transpired with you, and you really inspire others to take back their own power, to be an advocate for themselves. 11:11 on camera right now. So my hair just stood up on my right arm. Intuitively, I feel like if this is your reading, you're going to know it. If you feel that energy current, let me know. So that is what I have for you. This got a little bit more intense than I thought, but yeah, that's what I have. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Griselda Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2, you chose this lovely image on the right side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. What is your star power? You, pile number 2, are highly sensitive. You could be empathic as well. You could cry easily if someone else is crying. Very empathetic. I have that problem, actually. I call it a problem. You've seen a lot. You've spoken very little. Your inner child is evident. You could appear very youthful. You could be called like an old person, an old soul in a young person's body. Literally, there's a man's face buried within the artwork. If you look very close to the image, you'll see probably the middle third of the person's face is kind of like a bald man. So I feel like you have a lot more wisdom than people would ever have thought would come from you, which is interesting. That's what happens when you assume, friends, right? Let's see. Okay, I wrote protractor vibes. That's going to be a new term for me. You can easily detect what people's angle is towards you or in any scenario. You see the motive a mile away. Then I kept looking at the orange nose. I'm like, what's up with the orange nose? So I just kind of Googled it real quick. And the first search I got was dried blood, which is really interesting because I do feel like you've inherited a lot of these qualities from family, from your family tree. You are surprisingly poetic, eloquent, gentle. You could have a flair for theater. I'm getting a lot of like Page of Cups vibes with this, okay? And then, of course, we can't ignore the word bizarre that is written on that image that we chose. People just don't know you They think you're bizarre because they didn't take the time to know you. It was all about self. You could have been surrounded by a lot of narcissistic people, or people that were like really busy. I don't know. They just didn't take the time to know you. And I feel like what is your star power right now? I feel like they're starting to really understand that you are a whole different person than what they originally thought. There's a lot behind what they originally thought, and we're going to go ahead and look into this. So if this sounds like you, or if this sounds intriguing, join me for the shuffle and subsequent reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. Pile number 2. If you're new to my channel, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at least reassuring or inspiring. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much. Pile number 2. What is your star power? You have Wallflower. With the number 22, and you have Commune with Nature. I love this one. So right off the bat, if you look actually at these two images, it's almost exactly what I was feeling from the image that we originally chose, right? So I don't think that you've been a wallflower, but I do feel like, similar to pile number 1, you have been repressed or not spoken your truth, or you're not somebody who typically would want to be outspoken. I feel like maybe in your younger years, depending on your age bracket or where you are developmentally. I personally am developing my voice late in life. Here we go. But I'm just going to say, with the wallflower right here, you could have been somebody who just wanted to blend in. You didn't want to bring attention to yourself, but you're an observer, right? Definitely an observer. Something about your eyes. You could have really big, beautiful eyes, or people could really get riveted on your eyes. You could have really long, beautiful locks, not necessarily. You could have unusual hair. I would totally wear that, by the way, for sure. If you guys know me at all in real life, you would know that that, my friends, is a fact. But with a wallflower, I feel like your star power is that you don't necessarily want the limelight. You don't necessarily want to be stage and center. Front and center. But life has brought you to front and center. Life has catapulted you. I feel also that part of your star power is that you really commune with nature. You could be a nature, you could relate to like nature fairy. You could get a lot of inspiration with nature, from nature, actually. And you could, do that barefoot, getting grounded and things like that. But with this book right here, I feel like this is almost like a diary, a journal, or maybe she's getting downloads. You know what? I'm going to have to pause this one moment, please. And we're back. Just like that. So yeah, I definitely feel like you could be trying to keep your downloads and things like that to yourself. Also, that your third eye could be opening, or it is wide open right now. You could really identify with the divine feminine. Doesn't matter what sex you are. You could identify with somebody who's very in touch with their emotions. We did talk a little bit about being the Page of Cups, right? Where you're very empathic, that child who's like very watery, empathic, very sensitive, very in tune with their emotions, able to read other people's emotions. But that is a large part of your star power. Also, it's what you see and what you're tuning into. So maybe some of you guys are writing a book, a how-to book, how to open up your third eye, how to navigate that kind of a world. And I feel like maybe you're not comfortable being directly in front of on camera and things like that. So maybe you're writing it down. You're writing a book, an ebook, self-publishing. I don't know, but let's see where this goes. Pile number 2. Okay, I have to tell you, this is a new deck to me. I found it on Cats and Cards. I love her channel. If you haven't seen her, go check her out. She's phenomenal. Um, but this just tickles me so hard. Okay, that sounds really bad. But anyways, you get what I'm talking about. So we have doubt, we have rude. I feel like people are really eating their words with you. Judgment, yeah. And I'm getting the corresponding my hair standing up on the left side. To me, that is the subconscious, right? So something about people's subconsciously now are actually eating their own words. But the more that you speak, your words are going down on paper. Maybe it's like poetry, maybe it's song, maybe it's like diary. Maybe you could be like the diary of a wallflower, who observes everything, or a diary of an empath who thought they were a wallflower. I don't know your life, but I can relate to this. And I feel like on your mind, you have a lot of beauty. Like you could speak. I don't know, you're very well spoken, very articulate, but people don't know. And I think you could be very shy or very like skittish, afraid of making a mistake. Like I feel that way as well, by the way. So if that's you, then no shame in that game. Let me tell you, I mispronounce things and I get kind of embarrassed and I'm like, well, I got to own it. I don't know how to pronounce that, but here we are trying to pronounce things. So maybe you're a lot like myself where you're a reader and reading books I meant, but you could be a reader as well. And I don't know, I got in the habit of kind of blowing through words. Like I knew the meanings, but I didn't know how to pronounce them. And I didn't care because internal dialogue, right? That was my whole life. Still kind of is. But now that is not your whole life. And now you have to articulate. Now we got to learn how to pronounce things. Anyways, side note for somebody. But what is your star power right here? I can't help but look at the cones. And with the cones, I think of a pineal gland, right? And that's a word, by the way. I don't know if I ever pronounced it correctly, but I have the eye right here, and you could be drawn to like the Eye of Horus or anything like that. But people are eating their words, and maybe perhaps this is somebody who has actually managed to purchase, hopefully, right? But to grab your manuscript, or maybe you wrote a screenplay or whatever it is that you wrote, and they're trying to digest that. But now they are really, maybe they were rude about it. Maybe they read maybe they read your journals. That's happened to me, by the way. Or maybe they read something and they wanted to, they really esteem themselves so highly to the point that they can help themselves to whatever. I mean, this person has a lot going on right here, and they really think that they're the ish. Let's get in there. So I'm looking at the white painted face. This person or these people could have been older. I just feel like there's a level of disrespect. They doubted you. They were rude, judgmental. And it doesn't have to be like, the rudeness doesn't have to come in as like, oh, you'll never be able to publish that book, or I've been told I'm a dreamer. I dream too big. Well, okay, you dream too little. I mean, sad for you, right? So what is your star power? I feel like you were around somebody who really tried to bring you down. Yeah, these are people that try to like humiliate you, to bring you down to size, to chop you down to size, to remind you of the things that you've done in the past, or the failures, quote unquote, if you're not watching the screen right now. Now, pile number 2, I'm just going to say, a side note right here, but what is a failure? I think that's so ridiculous. We get so stuck on, oh, we have to be perfect every time, and we do this and we do that. No, did you know that Coca-Cola was made by an accident? It was a byproduct of something somebody was trying to make. They failed at that. I'll take that failure. Hello. I mean, the invention of Coca-Cola, right? The same thing with like Teflon. Now, none of these things are good for you. So I hate to bring those up. I'm going to have to get other examples. But I'm just saying, that's what we're looking at. Now, right here, I feel like there could have been a level of betrayal, or like a constant energy of, oh, yeah, that's just like pile number 2. Yeah, condescending. It feels very condescending energy. Pile number 2, they're so cute. They're so, well, the youth, they're so young and they have these idealized dreams. They'll come back to earth someday. And I feel like now they're eating their words. It's more like speak for yourself, and they're able to see that. Okay. So what is your star power? Pile number 2. You have the 8 of Cups. Not surprising here. Oh, wow. Look at that in sequence, baby. Maybe you like to play that game Sequence. My son loves it. The Eight of Cups can talk about you walking away from people, situations that want to drain you. This zombie, let's get in there, is really trying to grab a leg, right, from this lady. And the lady's just kind of looking back, feeling maybe a little bit nostalgic. So you've had to walk away from a lot of situations where people would perhaps, oh yeah, listen, some real life examples, okay? This can look like people that they got jokes. And one joke that I heard in my mind that I was reminded of is once upon a time, sorry about the tangent, but once upon a time, it was family and friends over. And I had a cat at the time, and the cat like ran by. And one family member goes, "Hey, fat girl." And I was right there. And everybody kind of turned around, and this person kind of laughed, and they go, "Oh, the cat, not you," meaning not me. And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." But it was very obvious it was a jab at me and my weight, right? So it could be things like that. You could be somebody who's walking away from things like that. You're not taking that anymore. And I feel like you've poured a lot of time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, she's taken a small suitcase, but she could just like confidently walk ahead. She's got not miles, but she's doing pretty good, right? But instead she's looking back, and there's an element of, it's so sad that I have to walk away from this because I was a part of it. I built it. I put a lot of time, energy. I was hopeful. I was optimistic, but it just never panned out. I was constantly giving and giving and giving. There were all these storms that I had to weather, and I just feel tapped out and exhausted. That was not your destiny. Your destiny is to walk away from things in search of the ninth cup. If you are not happy, if people aren't really like pro pile number 2, if they're condescending, if they want to cut you with little jabs and you want to kind of gloss over it like, "Oh, that's just, my friend. They're like that." By the way, I've had a lot of really quote unquote close friends like that who would love to take personal jabs at me and so on, until I got fed up. And I walked away. So pile number 2, I feel like part of your star power is walking away from situations like this, okay? Walking away in search of your ninth cup. And I feel like you're not trying to focus on, "Oh, they're going to eat their words." Like, we don't care about that. We care about our happiness. We're focused on, what is that ninth cup? What gives me pleasure? What gives me joy? What is it that I can really dream about that really makes me feel fulfilled? Okay. And I think that it's below this. It has to do with writing, with prose. Okay. With, I'm hearing publication, but definitely somehow, some way you're utilizing your voice in order not to really, not only just be therapeutic for you. We can write and it can be very cathartic, right? In order to help us to kind of process, to release the valve, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like more so, this is going to be a guiding light for other people, or at least an inspiration for people that they see that it's like, you know what, that isn't right. Okay. Because I personally would never joke about that. I mean, that's just, kind of ridiculous. But I feel like you have really disengaged from people that will take your vulnerabilities, your wounds, or apparent vulnerabilities and wounds, and exploit them and make it about them. Okay. Because this is, people who wanted to put the limelight on themselves, and they could do that easily when it's about them. But when they're utilizing you as a foil to make them look better, that's a problem. That's a big problem. Pile number 2, I hope that this is making sense for someone. So if this actually is making sense to you, or if this is amusing, if you can please give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I'm having a hard time speaking. Sorry about that. So when I channel, I take on the symptoms of whatever the reading is as well. So pile number 2, what is your star power? Mice, discord among friends and family. What I tell you, your star power is identifying and walking away from bullshit, okay? If it's not for you, if other people are pedestaling themselves above you, if it is a constant, if it is like almost like you never get your moment, or every time you shine, it's met with a tight-lipped smile. And you know inside that these people are not happy for you. If, let's say, you get a raise, if you get good grades, if you get elevated in some way, shape, and form, and other people are, oh, that's so good, I'm so happy, and you know it's lip service, you're walking away. You're incredibly in tune with that, and I feel like people mistook that, your quietness, reservedness, for weakness. But I feel like that is no more. Now they know that you're not putting up with it. Pile number 2. You have not unsuccessful plans. Yeah, you're walking away from unsuccessful plans. You are untying things. And if it cannot be untied, I feel like you're cutting that cord. A lot of you guys can benefit from cord cutting. Okay. You can look up those things online for free on the YouTube. Ha! Just kidding. Okay. What is your star power? Yeah, I feel like you are being catapulted and in the limelight to help people that are quiet, that are reserved, that are maybe not even realizing that they're in the middle of, abuse. I don't even know if I can say that without getting flagged on this channel, but pile number 2, what is your star power? I feel like you expose people. Yeah, your strength is your star power. Now, I had to cover this up. This is just simply ammo. I thought it was really cool, but on my other channel that I don't really do anything with anymore, PsychicMD, I was using this deck and I totally got flagged for it. But anyways, strength card. This is you embracing your beauty, your intellect, acting on things that have blown your mind. It's like, how did I not see that? Well, I see it now. Even the sticker, right? The YouTube dressing right here so I don't get in trouble, talks about like your mind being blown. And it's like, wow, now I know that this person has been against me the entire time because I made it a personal competition. So you could have had a lot of people that try to triangulate you, make things a personal competition with you when there wasn't any. You weren't competing, instead of them embracing their own strength. And I feel like that's what your strength is, what your star power is really embracing your own strength. It's like you have all the ammo, all the resources to defend yourself, but you're going to do what is logical, what makes you happy, and you're going to keep it pushing like that. The number 11 featured here, so you could be seeing the number 11, 11, 11, and that could be just additional confirmation, master numbers for you. What is your star power? I feel like you could be somebody who inspires people that are a lot younger than you to really comprehend things. They're not dumb at all. I feel like they were in a place of like, okay, let's respect, let's keep the peace, let's not rock the boat. Let's just go with, well, that is just how this person is. I've had friends who have told me things that are pretty horrible. And I've made excuses. So I feel like you're teaching people that maybe how to navigate those situations, how to identify them, and how to know that, you know what, it is okay to say no, no more. It is okay to walk away because you have a right to your happiness. You have a right to personal fulfillment. You have a right to fulfill your dreams. You have a right to be surrounded by people that will actually encourage you and stand behind you. And I'm not saying not everybody's going to agree with everything we do. I mean, look what I'm doing. And I don't have a lot of friends who, support that. But that's okay. The people that really don't believe in this or don't like this, they kind of mind their own business, The same way that if I'm not really into what they're doing, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Well, let me know when you're done. And we can, we find other levels of commonality, but it's a mutual respect of, I respect your time. You're doing you. Not a big deal. Yeah, 2 of Swords. So I feel like you could have walked away from a lot. But with the 2, I always feel like personal power. Personal power, you're finding your personal power, you're finding your sea legs, if you will. And it could feel a little bit shaky, a little bit rocky, a little bit like, gosh, what's out there if I have to leave the known? What's out there after I put all this time? It could be a relationship, a husband, a wife who like verbally tears you down or subtly sabotages you. It could look like many things, like people know you're on a diet and all of a sudden they're bringing in all these treats into the home or at work, whatever. right? And maybe they're guilting you. They're like, well, one cupcake isn't going to kill you. It's not going to be all, it's not, respect the boundary. It's not about what you think or whatever. If you make an offer, a real offer is like, okay, here you go. Would you like this? A no thank you is an answer. A no is a full sentence. Anybody that cannot take a no from you is a dangerous person, okay? They don't have your best interest at heart. 7 of Cups. Part of your star power is that you have a lot of options. A lot of options. You are very versatile. People didn't know that. Very analytical. You're very grounded. I almost see like a pentacle back here. So you have the ability to really put on different thinking caps. And also I feel like you're a little bit of a chameleon. So you could like theater or have something to do with like the arts. And one last thing, what is your star power? What is your star power? I feel like you're visionary. Whatever it is that you see, you're very psychic, very in tune, tapped in. And this could have to do with that realm. Your name could be Autumn. You could love Autumn. King of Cups, yep. You've mastered, believe it or not, even though you may not feel like you mastered it, you have mastered all of your emotions. And so far as like you can share them now. The quintessential King of Cups has been through all the cup sequences, and they have been in love with love, and they've been overcome with emotion. The King of Cups typically wears, I feel like they don't wear their heart on their sleeve, but this one is like submerged right to the eyeballs. So you could feel like this is you, almost like you're sunken. I don't know what to do. I mean, this person wouldn't even get out of the chair, right, in this image. But I feel like all of this emotion has to go somewhere. And it's interesting because part of these two kind of fit. It's almost like maybe part of your dream, part of your star destiny is to go ahead and speak on your emotions. Yeah, you could have a very high emotional intelligence. You could read people super, super well. And so I feel like whatever this is, it's part of what's going to make you very happy. And how funny. Okay, the 4 wands came out, so I got to take it because it's in the upright. But this is lending you stability. This is lending you that let us build, and I'm happy and content with, it doesn't have to be much. It's an apartment. Good. It's an apartment, or it's a foundation of friends. But whatever it is, it's very stable. It has the Emperor energy. I feel like this is you reclaiming your power and stepping up. And I feel like it'll be you sitting on this throne, but it won't be with all this mess right here. Like, oh, I can eat whatever I want. I can help myself to whatever I want. I can do, and I can treat people and have the attitude that I'm better than them. That will not be you. You'll be sitting here and this will be cleared off, and you have the same options because I see it right here. Options in love, options in speaking engagements I'm hearing. Yeah, so if you're afraid to speak, I feel like that's going to be one of the big things for you is to be a keynote speaker or something about the way that you utilize your words on paper or in person. That's going to really change other people's lives as well. So that is what I have for you. I feel like that's how you are going to really be seen, by the way, okay? Much love. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Untitled Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3, you chose this lovely image on the right hand side of the screen. And your downloads go as follows. What is your star power? Now, originally when I selected the image, I just selected the images based on what I was attracted to. I didn't read any of the writing on there or try to like really dive deep, until I did the channeling. Now, the channeling came and I felt like dancer vibes. You could be a dancer. And the card literally says that, or the image literally says that. But you could be very graceful, very agile, strong muscular body. You could have a scar on your hairline or a widow's peak. You could have red hair or chestnut hair. You could have Pisces prominent in your chart. I also got Rosie the River based on the pose that she had with her arm out like that. You could wear your hair like this image. Pile number 3, I hope I said 3. You could have prominent ears. Okay, they could stick out a little bit. And I heard, oh wow, yeah, forgot about this. I heard some people will hate you as you heal your family lineage. You are a rising star, literally sticking your neck out for growth. You're healing generational trauma. You're paying the bill for bad decisions of your ancestors, people in the past. Now, take that with a grain of salt if that's not something you believe in, as all my messages are. Now, as you heal, you're helping others heal as well, okay? So if this sounds like you, or if this is sounding a little bit intriguing, then join me for the shuffle and subsequent reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. Pile number 3, if you are new here. I hope that you find something that is helpful, hopeful, something encouraging. And for those of you guys that are my repeat offenders, I'm all my babies. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. So pile number 3, what is your star power? Now, I don't know why, but while I was shuffling, I kept getting nails. Something about nails. Maybe you guys are nail techs. Maybe you do like really fancy things with nails. Like, I'm all like, do I dare? This is my chance to show off my claws. Anyway, something about nails came very, very prominent. And I feel like maybe you guys could be nail techs, or something about like you get your nails done and they're so unusual and so different that people know you for your nails or your nail tech abilities, right? And it could be anything like these baddies, if I can unhook them. So you could do something very unusual like these claws. So I don't know, something about your nails though. But we're going to find out a little bit more. That's for somebody, okay? That was a really weird way to open up, but what is your star power? Pile number 3. You have make a wish. And you have broken open. Wow, that is so powerful. So pile number 3, first of all, I mean, look at these images, so beautiful. We have Make-A-Wish 5, 6, 7 right here. And we have all these dandelions with all the stars. In fact, this dandelion is turning into a star. Now, we see the young lady, and it appears that she might have Down's, right? Down syndrome. And for whatever reason, this flipped over during the shuffle, if you aren't watching it closely. And I started thinking about TikTok and, well, not exclusively, but how there's this new thing where people are trying to fetishize. Sorry about this topic, but it's coming up, so we're going to share it. They have a filter, basically, and they're trying to fetishize, you know, people with Downs, or utilize this filter in order to bump up their numbers and make it so that they get different kind of attention, right? So I guess on different platforms, this is like a big thing, and that's not okay. I mean, anyways. But somebody could have Downs, or somebody could have a child that has Downs, or a relative that they're close to. But I feel like with Make-A-Wish, you have a very, very pure heart, first of all, and that is part of your stardom. Coco hacking in the background. Part of your star power is that I feel like you really focus on whatever it is that you desire, and you just kind of, the way she is focused, she doesn't care what we're thinking, what we're looking at, how she looks, nothing. She's focused on that beautiful little flower, that dandelion. And when she blows it, all the seeds spread, right? And I feel like part of your star power is that you are focused on one thing, something, whatever your thing is. And I think that that's very inspiring for people. I think that you pepper people very much like that dandelion, the little seedlings, right? pepper the earth and things like that to kind of regrow and regenerate and rejuvenate themselves, basically. And you help people to find these like seeds that really help them to bear fruit in the form of like wishes. You help people to have hope, to have dreams, to dream big, and to be okay with that. Also, I'm hearing that you're a great manifester. So some of you guys, maybe you're teaching other people how to manifest, and that is a thing for you. Now, broken open, this reduces to 3 right here. And I feel like this is in cooperation with spirit. I'm getting a lot of crown energy and my crown chakra. So, but with broken open right here, we see her. And I feel like there's something about your need for looking perfect or perfection, whatever that is, right, is leaving. Your need to embrace like common beauty standards or always utilize a filter when you're on camera or any of those things. I feel like that is kind of dwindling or being broken now. I feel like what is your star power is your authenticity. You're allowing people to see how authentic you are. Maybe you've decided I'm not doing makeup anymore, or maybe, you know, whatever, I'm not dyeing my hair, that kind of a thing. But make a wish. I feel like you're really helping people to dive back into what it was that they wished for when they were young, when they were idealistic, before we woke up on a prison planet. Just kidding, but not really. And really started to walk in, I don't know, I want to say like modern day slavery, but I know that's a lot for you guys, some of you guys. But before we decided to pick up that ticket from the deli that says you stand in line, you get this ticket, you get this, I don't know, sandwich, and then you leave and you do it all again tomorrow. Like before we became cookie cutters, or we try to hammer ourselves into something that society or school says that this is for you. I think that you are breaking open and you're diving deep, finding your own wishes, your own desires. Maybe you've been there, done that. Maybe perhaps you benchmark the status quo and you have all the things. And you realize that, you know what, that didn't make my heart happy. Somewhere inside, I need to look again. And what's cracked open is a wish and a dream that maybe perhaps you never followed through with, or you saw only seedlings of it and you didn't really tend to it like you would a garden in order to that little seedling to germinate and flourish, right, to grow. So I think that part of your star power is how you have been broken, oh my goodness, Griselle. Broken into. That's interesting. Okay, maybe life has broken you. That's not a good thing, right? But, well, it doesn't feel good. But I feel like for your own good, it's broken this like facade, or something about you within is actually breaking through and opening up into the world. And you're allowing people to see that life is not a filter. Life is not a reel. Life is not a TikTok. Life is not a YouTube, right? All these things. And I definitely feel like you have people inspired, okay? Now, you could be in a situation right now. I almost see like a wishbone as well here. Not quite, but almost. 707 on camera right now. That could mean something for someone. But I almost feel like this brokenness has really served to bring out your core, whatever's really in your heart, and it served to really shine. And I think that people are really, truly inspired by you. And I feel like consequently, they're making choices to really break out of their own shell, if you will, or break out of their own social norms, break out of whatever it is that they hammered themselves into, that little box, that little Rubik's Cube thing, in order to be a real human being and not just a human doing. So I'm gonna have to take a sip of water. One moment, please. I will not pause, as pausing is more editing nightmares. Alrighty, hi Coco. And he's up, yeah. So I feel like the more that you dream, the more that you bring peace to other people, truth to other people, and you realize that there are parts of them, they realize that there are parts of them that are still broken. That could be mended with just a dream. Wow. Wow, did we not just talk about manifesting? This came out in the pre-shuffle, by the way. Number 44 can mean something to you. You could be 44. April could be your birthday, April 4th, anything like that. You could have a lot of wisdom that you're sharing with the world. You could be kind of bumped into spotlight. Okay, spotlight. Spotlight, that's a thing. That's a vibe, you guys. So maybe perhaps somebody, I'm hearing in spite of, okay, in spite of all the things, all the trials and tribulations, all the hardships, right? And I actually was thinking about, I think it was the 80s, or I'm not sure. There was a show that really featured one of the kids was had Downs and got launched into fame. And I've seen like a lot of people, right, on Reels or have accounts like that really wind up getting famous, and their natural beauty shines through. It's not like, you know, I don't know, tailored or whatever, scripted, maybe some of it is, but they're able to be featured in a way that's truly them, authentically them, is I guess what I'm saying. So manifest your miracles. I feel like if you can dream it, you can have it. I want it, I got it, that kind of a vibe, right? So pile number 3. What is your star power? 10 of Wands. Really? And the Queen of Hazards. Yeah, this came out in the, when I was shuffling, and it felt right, so I just kept her. She jumped out. So the 10 of Wands right here, and with the broken open, I feel like pile number 3, all these 3 readings are very similar. They're, you know, makes sense because I'm going to draw an audience that vibes with me, right? But the 10 of Wands right here, I definitely feel like you are somebody that maybe you've been broken open by responsibility. It's almost like you're taking care of everything and you can't. And so you said, okay, enough's enough. Or you simply got bogged down and weighted down and things just fell by the wayside. I don't want to say as they should, but this is like a tower moment of you trying to do everything for everyone else. And it's an impossibility, okay? And now I feel like that has fallen by the wayside. You've let go of responsibilities. Not that you're not responsible. This is talking about carrying other people's responsibilities. And, you know, if we continue rescuing or carrying other people's responsibilities, they're never going to learn. They will never learn. You will never prepare them how to handle their own business, things like that, for the future. And you're doing a disservice. You're playing like interference in the spirit world. You're like, oh, no, let me rescue. And let me tell you that I resemble that remark. So I'm convicted, but I'm also working on it. So pile number 3, Queen of Hazards right here. This is somebody who has undergone all of the Pentacle suits, right? All the court cards where they're like, oh, I'm going to deposit a little bit of time, effort, energy, and let's see how this goes. To, yeah, I kind of like this. I'm going to put more energy and elbow grease into it. To, oh, wow, you know, this is growing and I'm going to, you know, put more energy into it because it's flourishing. And maybe you might even like bring other people on or whatever, to the point where you're a queen. And the Queen of Hazard is somebody who's very meticulous, very earthy, okay, very grounded. This is somebody that you can walk up to and you will actually get the help that you need. So no longer are you just carrying all the burdens, and literally her arms are gone here, right? But no longer are you carrying all the burdens and doing all the things with your own hands. You are speaking and helping people to find their own strength and their own power. I fully believe that unless we do for ourselves, we can't have a lot of self-respect. And because it puts us in a position of like powerlessness or dependency. And so I'm not saying that we have to do everything ourselves. Of course, I'll take note. But I am definitely saying that your ability, or even if it was taken out of your hands, like, you know, something catastrophic happened and you dropped all the wands and it's like, I can't, the car broke down and you can't drive everybody to work in school and be the chauffeur and be the chef and be the employee and be the writer or whatever. You can't do all the things. So now people have to pick up their own wands, their own responsibilities, and be independent as well. And I feel like you're very earthy, very grounded, and you are manifesting miracles because you teach people, you know, when now's the time for me to follow my dreams and to really invest in myself, I've invested enough in everyone else. So the number 10 reduces to 1. That is a new beginning. And the number 12 right here reduces to number 3, which is cooperation. I feel like this is stating that you are starting to cooperate with yourself and pursuing your dream, whatever that is. It could be a hobby. It could be like, I dream to live on a golf course or live near a golf course, or or maybe you have a dream that you want to be in theater, or yeah, I'm like, you want to be a thespian, or you want to learn how to draw or paint or whatever. Any of those things, I feel like whatever gives you pleasure and joy is what you're going to pursue or are currently pursuing. And that is part of your star power, is that you help realize that it's not like, oh, wow, I have to do things and I'm burdened. The people that you give their wands back to, right? Their responsibilities back to. But you're helping them to realize it's like, wow, I did that. I did that by myself. I figured out my own ride to work, to school. I figured out how to navigate this problem. I figured out that if I set aside the time I'd play video games, I would do my laundry and then fold it. And I figured out that if I laid out my clothes the day before, I can make life easier on the morning of, whatever. All the things, right? And I feel like this is very empowering for other people, but it's free. And that in itself is you being a star, because honestly, like, helping people find their own personal power is incredibly powerful. It's an underrated superpower, actually. And then with Make-A-Wish, I feel like it's like being hopeful, reviving and rejuvenating yourself. Pile number 3. If you're liking these kind of readings, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you are notified when I drop further readings. You have the gavel. What? Involvement with the law. And you have the knot. This one came out before. Okay, we're going to have to... Maybe you work, or your dream is to work with the law. And maybe perhaps things have been unsuccessful in the past. Let's see where this goes. Gavel, involvement with the law. For some of you guys, this could have involved something with the law, like maybe somebody was incarcerated and you had to take on more burdens than you're already carrying, and it forced you to see that it was not good for your health. Yeah, all these cards jump, we're taking them on. It wasn't good for your health, mental, emotional, spiritual, and so you did something different. And some of you guys actually went to went to jail or prison or got involved with the law in a bad way. And that really helped you to dream more and want better for yourself. What is your star power? Why are these cards here? Justice. If I'm lying, I'm dying here. With the Justice card, putting things back in a balance, balancing the burdens, balancing what you will carry for other people. Even if it is like you're going to carry their reputation, their good name is actually what I heard. You're no longer doing that. They're responsible for their own reputation. That's another burden that you could have, I heard is lifted, but you could have just let go of, whatever. So you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, you're pursuing whatever it is. Like, like a rabid dog with a bone, or rabid baby with a bone. Look at that. I love these images. I got teased for these cards being so used and so, like, it's so funny. My friend in Phoenix, he's like, you use those on clients? I said, yep. But I was a little embarrassed, but here we are showing everybody. So you could be like, showing people like that dog with a bone. I'm going to go ahead and just dive right in and do what I'm passionate about. And I'm going to show, myself, first of all, that I can do this and that I love following my passion and pursuits. And it's going to have a higher purpose. Yeah. Knight of Cups, it's going to really fulfill me mentally and emotionally. All the water right here. So manifest your miracles. You could be manifesting travel. You could write manifestation books. You could be into the 369 method. You could be into, let me program water. I program my water every time I water, and I drink a lot of it. I program my water, but you could be into any of those modalities. King of Swords, hyper intelligent, super intelligent. And here are your trophies. I feel like you could even, maybe some of you guys want to like run a marathon, triathlon. Maybe some of you guys are getting back to the gym and hitting the gym hard, or whatever, right? Maybe you want to go in for like these body contest things. Whatever it is, I feel like you're incredibly smart. You're intelligent. You're very balanced, and you're rebalancing. With a Justice card, you're making things fair and equitable. You're no longer taking more than the lion's share, a burden. You are allowing, You're allowing everybody to do whatever it is that they need to do and experience their own life process. So with the Page of Swords right here, I definitely feel your star power. This is a little bit disjointed, I realize, but it feels like your star power is a bit mysterious. And people are like, you have a lot of looky-loos, a lot of little spies, a lot of people under different accounts, a lot of, well, they don't know it's me. We know, guys, it's okay. Yeah, but with this like zombie and this young girl, she's like, well, if I got to, I got to hatch it right here, right? So maybe you're cutting people off. It looks like, oh yeah, that little picture in the background. What is that? Let's try to, is it hone in here? What is this? It looks like a dysfunctional family, but maybe it's just a bad kid drawing. I don't know. Yeah, so it could be a dysfunctional family and you are, you know, showing up for yourself. That's the biggest thing. And that's giving you almost like a fairy princess, fairy prince kind of a vibe where you help people to realize that, you know what, just because you grew up in this village and this is status quo for your family, things do not run that way. You can break that course. You are the one that decides. You are the one that can be very grounded and pragmatic, and you can teach other people as well. While you're being grounded and pragmatic, it seems counterintuitive that you are chasing your dream, following your passion. Your libido could be rising. Yeah, you are definitely somebody who thinks a lot. And with all that thinking, I feel like wherever your mind goes, energy flows, right? Natural. And that's part of your manifestation. If you think it, it'll happen. And I think that you're starting to really realize that your brain is very powerful and you're starting to really kind of bring those things back into a container to where you're like, all right, if I'm willy-nilly thinking about, you know, bad things, then it's not going to be good for anybody. So let me focus on the good. And we're not glossing over things that are tough or negative, but we're not living in that space where it feels excruciating and we tell ourselves all day what a miserable day it is. That's not where we live anymore. So I think that that is your star power. You are a miracle in so many ways. I hear for somebody here that you could have exceeded like your life expectation. Like maybe the doctor said, oh, you know, you have this long to live or something, and you've by far benched that because, you know, nobody can speak over your life. Nobody can speak over your dreams either. So good for you. That's what I have. Much love to you. Until next time, namaste.